Tonight's conversation cuts straight to the uncomfortable truth a lot of people don't want to hear. This isn't about dating apps, hot girl summers, or modern buzzwords. It's about marriage readiness, accountability, and whether someone is actually prepared to be a wife or just comfortable playing a role without the responsibility. Our caller is a young mother who's been in an 8-year relationship with her child's father. They're engaged, living life together, but marriage keeps getting delayed for one key reason: attitude, respect, and how conflict is handled. This call forces a hard look at modern relationship dynamics. How comfort turns into entitlement, how disrespect gets justified as speaking your truth, and why men don't walk away loudly. They walk away quietly after repeated warnings. Hit like, subscribe, and support Kevin Samuel's original channel to help keep his legacy alive.
Are they ready to be wives or just ready to be side chicks at best?
I would say a lot of women in this society are ready to be side chicks more than wives. I feel like they feel like the benefits are easier to reap than being through a struggle or in an actual committed and serious situation or structure. Maybe a lot of them haven't had any structure or maybe male role models or a male opinion on.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Cliff. Do you think the average modern woman is taking life seriously?
No, definitely not at the degree of City Girls and Hot Girl Summer. I don't think
That's what it really comes. That's because it comes down to. How old is your child?
She's 6.
Okay, so before a child and after a child are two different things.
Yes.
You have to take life a hell of a lot more seriously when you're responsible for the life of somebody else.
Definitely.
So okay. Go ahead. I don't want to. You only got a few minutes. You have a question that you want to ask me because I've already asked my question to
Yes,
you.
I do. I actually am in a relationship with my child's father and have been for 8 years. I definitely have a father figure. He raised me. My mother was in and out of my life. So just trying to hone in the maturity level of the male's perspective on how.
What do you want as an outcome with your man?
I would like to be married. Well, we're on our way. We've been engaged for 2 years.
How many children does he have?
We both share one.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 29.
And you're how old again?
27.
So what's the hold up on marriage?
He says my attitude and the way that I speak, I would say, towards men, which I agree. I feel like seeing my mother kind of the way she talks to my father, even now they're not together and it's been 20 years, I do see a lot of resemblance in the respect factor.
So you disrespect your child's father?
In arguments, yes. And out of anger. Not necessarily to disrespect him, like.
Okay, so.
As a man.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, how you fight says a lot.
Yes.
So, he's been with you for 8 years, and you have a child. If he was taken away from you tomorrow in a car accident, you think you could operate like that with another man and him marry you?
No.
Okay. So if you got a man that's with you, either you act like you need to act or you run the risk of losing him.
Yes, and that's my question is to get into the mindset of not, well, I don't want to say like submit, like how feminists or whatever use that word, but like submit more, and so like having a male like leadership and me taking the backseat and not trying to be the leader. If that makes.
Why are you trying? You want to know what I think or what he thinks?
No, what you think? Like what?
Well, okay, ma'am, you listen to your man.
Right, of course.
Okay, because I'm not going to overstep my boundaries That is your child's father, and he's been with you 8 years. He told you what he wants. Here's
Right.
what you do. Here's what you do. You do it.
Right.
You don't need me to come. You don't need me, Jesus, the pastor, to tell you something else when you got a man who's there by you.
Right.
That's disrespectful by itself. Why don't you just give the man what he wants?
Even if I feel as though I am, would that not suffice?
If I asked him, are you giving him what he wants? What would he say?
I would hope yes.
Okay, if you're saying the hold up on marriage is the way you act towards him disrespectfully, right?
Yes.
Then you're not giving him what he wants.
Right.
See, what it comes down to is this rebellious spirit in you females.
Right.
You want to give him what you think he deserves. And if he would up and leave you, then you'd be on my show talking about how your baby daddy left. The man told you what he wants. Either you give it to him or you leave him alone and let him go get a woman that's going to give him what he wants. I'm
Right.
not one for breaking up families, but you're just being outright rebellious.
Right. I would agree to being
So I gotta ask a hard question then.
okay.
You ready?
Yes.
If you lose him, you think you're gonna do better?
Definitely not.
Then why don't you act like that?
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I do.
There's no want to, man. There's no reason to not respectfully cooperate.
Right.
You've been around here for 8 years. This is about you, your ego, and your attitude. It ain't about how you were raised, everything else. Sounds like he's made it too easy for you. And you've
Right.
lost respect for him. And when
No,
I hear
I
women,
respect him.
if you respect him, you wouldn't open your mouth and say what you say in an argument.
Right. I agree with that part.
Then how are you gonna say you respect him?
No, I mean it's just like things are said like in the heat of the moment, not necessarily like that's how I treat him throughout the
Ma'am,
or
ma'am, ma'am, I've been alive too long.
yes.
When
I
these
understand.
arguments start, come on, hold the phone up. Your face is too low. When
Oh,
these
sorry.
arguments start, see, you fight dirty. And what I'm hearing is you talk to your man like a woman.
No.
Oh yeah, you do. Because if you talk to him like you should talk to a man, you should know from a safety standpoint that you need to keep your mouth closed. See, when two men are talking, there's a low-level threat of violence. If I'm sitting here talking to a man, I know there are lines. I
Right.
can't cross certain lines with any man. I don't care how big or small he is. After a certain line, we're gonna have to shoot the fair one. But
Right.
you will go damn well low because you know good and well he ain't gonna do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you argued with him, if you argue with a woman the way you argue with him, would you and that woman end up in a conflict?
Possibly. I feel like it depends. Like it's not necessarily like always like a threat or aggressive. It's just maybe the way I say certain things or pertaining to certain situations. Like it may not be in his perspective, and
No, ma'am, we're not talking about those. We're not talking about the innocent thing. We're talking about when you know you're saying something low and dirty just to hurt him.
right, right,
Okay, then you're doing it to hurt.
right,
All right. So you're intentionally inflicting damage on your man.
mm-hmm.
And if he were to turn around and physically inflict damage on him, the society would blame him and say he shouldn't do it. But you could be verbally violent with your child's father.
Right. Which I agree. I don't want to be that way. I don't think that's
Then,
fair.
then have you had any therapy?
I have, and
Okay.
It was more like church based though, so I
Then
didn't
that's not therapy.
yeah, I didn't
Ma'am,
really.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think you take your man for granted. I think that if you've been with him so long, you ain't been out here. I'm not really an advocate for families breaking up, but I bet you if he left you and got him another woman and you had to figure it out for this year, I bet you'd find a way to control your mouth and get under control. You know what this man wants. You know what he wants.
Yes.
Then give it to him or risk losing him. See, gentlemen, this is why you don't ever let your women this is why we should never let our women get comfortable. Because
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens. They start to end up, inevitably, the disrespect happens. Women test for strength. And so many men are trying to be the nice guy, and we're getting bitched.
Well, I
So,
definitely don't want to bitch him. That's not what I.
well, when's the last time you guys had an argument that you did you talk dirty or foul?
Um. Well, not necessarily talking dirty, but like I wasn't listening. He was trying to like calm me down because I was in another altercation with another person, and he was just kind of saying
A
like,
physical altercation?
no, just a verbal.
Who was this person?
Another female.
Was it a coworker or something?
No, just a friend. Like we just wasn't seeing eye to eye on a particular situation, and it got to the point where disrespect was being thrown. So of course,
Between you and this other woman?
yes,
Were you guys in person?
yes, and
Was this
he was
person at your
trying to.
house? Was this person at your house?
Yes,
Why didn't you tell her to leave your house?
I did. Um,
Okay. And
and
why didn't she leave your house?
I mean, she did. Eventually, she was like gathering her things and like leaving. But in the middle of me telling her to leave, that's when words were being exchanged, and he was trying to calm
See the
me
way
down.
that's that man's castle.
Mm-hmm.
And your female friend is bringing chaos into his castle.
Right.
Your job is to make sure his castle stays chaos free, not to get your point across and get your shit straightened out with your girl.
Right.
That was disrespectful to him, and he's out of his alignment trying to calm you down when your first priority should have been, you can't raise your voice in my man's house.
Right.
That's not going to work. And if she got something to say, you dial 911.
Right. I
But
agree.
that's how. But that's not what happened. You was
No.
arguing with her, and he's over here trying to save it. This is why, gentlemen, perfect example. We're all out of alignment. You sound like the man in the relationship.
No. No. I definitely don't
Why
want
is this
him in
one?
my
Why is this
relationship.
woman arguing in your man's house? Why are you arguing with a woman in your man's house?
You're right. I did
Thank
tell. I
you.
mean, I was the one that was like trying to
He
just get her
he's trying to
out,
calm
but
you down like a wife would try to calm her husband down.
right. I see.
Gender roles are blurred. Gender roles are blurred. But at the end of the day, sound like you got a guy who's trying to work with you. Uh, Maybe you need to do what I suggest doing and cut off your single friends, get you some actual counseling and therapy, get you some couples counseling, and start off and go down to the justice of the peace, get married, move to a different city, and live your life with your family. Because all this is chaotic.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're moving and acting in life as if this man ain't gonna leave. Everybody got a breaking point.
I agree.
Think about it. Think about it.
Thank
Have a good day.
you.
This conversation matters because it exposes a truth most people don't want to confront. Commitment doesn't fail overnight. It erodes through repeated moments of disrespect, unchecked ego, and comfort without consequence. What you just watched isn't about one argument, one woman, or one relationship. It's about how easily people mistake familiarity for security and assume loyalty means permanence. Too many people think being chosen once means they're immune from being replaced later. They think time invested guarantees outcomes. It doesn't. Respect is not stored credit. it's daily behavior. And when a man tells you clearly, calmly, and directly what's blocking the next step, that's not control. That's clarity. What stood out here wasn't confusion. It was awareness. She knew the issue. She admitted the attitude. She acknowledged the disrespect. And yet, the delay remained. That's the difference between wanting change and actually choosing it. Growth doesn't happen because you understand the problem. It happens when you change the behavior that caused it. Modern culture has convinced people that emotional expression excuses emotional damage, that speaking your truth absolves you of how it lands. But relationships don't survive on intention. They survive on impact. How you fight matters. How you speak matters. How you protect your household matters. A man doesn't leave the moment he feels disrespected. He leaves after realizing it's consistent, justified, and unlikely to change. And by the time he disengages emotionally, the decision has already been made. That's why warnings feel repetitive. They're not threats, they're last chances. This is also a reminder that marriage isn't something you demand. It's something you qualify for daily. Rings don't respond to potential. They respond to peace, cooperation, and trust. And when a home becomes chaotic instead of calm, commitment stalls. Not because love disappeared, but because safety did. None of this is about domination or submission. It's about alignment, about understanding that leadership and cooperation are not weaknesses. They're survival tools for families. And when roles blur without agreement, conflict replaces structure. At the end of the day, the question isn't whether she loves him. The question is whether she respects him enough to change what she knows is hurting the relationship. Because love without respect doesn't build marriages. It builds situationships with paperwork waiting to happen. And the hard truth is this: men don't leave because they stop loving. They leave because they stop believing things will change. If there's one takeaway from this conversation, it's simple. If someone tells you exactly what they need to move forward, and you believe losing them would hurt more than changing, then act like it. Because nobody owes you permanence. They only stay where they're respected.